You might not just wanted to not feel bad. Because if you're taking children, now you're like, if you're 17, you're a child in the law's eyes. And so now I'm in care of a child all day. And that there's like more responsibilities and shit like that. That's no bueno. All right, so let's see what we're doing today. Let's get my, oop, that's not what I want. I want that. That's still not what I want. Why are you not fucking working, shift key? Oh, I don't need shift key. That's the fucking problem. There we go. Let's throw in here CSCI 01. This is spring 24. This is lecture day 03. We are covering module 04. This is on conditionals. What day is it? February 9th. Note to everybody, next Friday is a holiday. I don't know what holiday. President's something? Pick a president. I don't know which president it is. One of the fucking presidents. It's got to be. It's February. Next Friday is a holiday. We're not having class. All right. Let's get some includes going on. What should we include? Caps lock is on. Bad caps lock. What do I include? Oh, pop quiz. What? I need IO stream. That's an excellent include. That's the only one you know that I need today. What else should I put here? Using namespace standard or STD. Excellent. Anything else I want to use? Oh. I am going to teach you some new stuff that includes a different library. So we are going to include the CTime library. And what else do I need to include? Just in case we need it. C standard library. End, enter, int main void. Zero. Nope, I'm gonna return 69. Nope, that's a number that's gonna trigger people. Let's go with 48. Doesn't matter. So let's take a look at some stuff. We've looked at int x equals like 6. Ah, fuck it, we're doing 48. We're gonna maybe we should return x. Clever girl. Look at this. Will that work? Can I do this? I need to return. The main has an integer return. I said x equals 48 as an integer. Can I redo this as a program? It won't show anything on the screen, but will it compile and run? No. What does it not like? Is my name too long again? Okay, let's try this. Nope, it's the fucking name. I hate you. I hate you so much. You are a hateful piece of shit. All right, let's copy that. Let's make a fucking new file. I got a lot of dead projects that don't have anything in my folder because the computer doesn't let me know ahead of time that it's not going to let me run something. All right, I'll do add. I will add a new item. My source program. Let's have it help. Zoom bar gets in the way. And copy paste. All right, let me close out the other one. Close. Save. All right. Run. It's always worth running right away to make sure shit runs, because if you name your starting file too long, it'll fucking be pissy with you. And it's not always clear that your name's too long. So I just found out, rather than writing a whole long script stuff, I was able to do return X, since X was an integer. All right, so that's not what a conditional is. Let's start talking about conditionals. So the equal sign here, it's equal sign like that bad boy, is called an assignment operator. We are assigning the value 48 to the variable X. We have something when, so how do I compare something? So how do we compare shit? I can do X greater than 6. I can do a C out of this. C out X greater than 6 and C out X less than 6. Let's see what happens. To do anything? No, because I don't have the assignment operator or the insertion operator. So I'll put our insertion operator in. That shouldn't be a problem. It says it is. Holy shit. Oh no, that's copying what I typed, son of a bitch. I'm like, did I just come up with exactly what? Fucking stupid thing. Doesn't like it. So it won't let me do a comparison there. Shit. What the hell? So let's try this. How do I want to teach this? We have something called the comparison operators. You have your standard, your normal ones. You have greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. We have this. Does anyone know what that is? Not equal to. So you know how you normally do an equal sign? You draw a bar through it. We don't have a way of drawing the bar through it. So we just said putting an exclamation point in front of it is like drawing the bar through it. So the exclamation equals is not equal to. I think the rest are pretty clear. How do we compare just straight equality? Like, is X equal to 6? What? We will, there's question mark for something, but that's not it. The way we still want to use the equal sign, but we already have the equal sign for the assignment operator. So what they do is they double up on the equal sign. Double up equal sign tests for equality. Yeah, we're comparing two values. Are they equal? That's what we mean when comparison, it's compare. So like X less than 6, we're comparing X and 6. And so we can say, is this the situation? This is pretty handy because we can have like on-off switches We talked about Booleans before where they have values of 0 and 1. We can use that like an on-off switch is the value equals 0. Let's do this. If the value doesn't equal 0, go ahead. Does it equal this? So we've had Booleans before. What are Booleans again? Boolean is like a toggle. In fact, I can call it a toggle. I'm going to call it my toggle. My on-off. It only has two values, true or false. False corresponds to, I believe, 0. True is any other number. Often we use 1 because 0 and 1 are the first two numbers that go together, but it's not that case. So like if I wanted to check, is X less than like 6? What if this is my age? Let's change X to age. This is Hefe's age. And now we wanted to see if I'm old enough to buy alcohol. You need to be 21. So we want to know, is Hefe old enough to buy alcohol? You must be 21. So what we really want to check is Hefe's age. Is it greater than 21? We can do something called the if statement. If, and we got to put in parentheses, we say what we're checking, and then we do the operator that the comparison operator we want to check. This checks if I am over 21. And if we do the curly braces after it, we can do a bunch of shit that happens if it does. So we'll do a C out. FA is over 21. Isn't he great? Just top praise upon myself. Just heap it on. We'll click run. And it says I am. It ran what I coded. What if I change it to say if Hefe's age is less than 21? Just fucking coming in, talking shit. It'd be fucking awesome if I was a college professor at the underage of 21. So I'm checking to see if I'm under 21 and code says nothing. Okay, so whatever I have in curly braces right there is dependent on my if statement. So this is called the if statement. I want to show you the same thing if I copy and paste this, and I'm going to remove the curly braces. So this also checks if I'm under 21, under 21. No braces here. What do you guys think will happen? Let's check. All it says is, isn't he great? So it skipped this line right here. That line was not said. So that's exactly it. If there's no braces, it only applies to the next line. Which is helpful when you only have one line to do. You don't have to fucking worry about hunting down the curly brace key and like dealing with it. It speeds your code up. Does that make sense? So maybe I should change this. This shouldn't say Hefe is over 21. It should say Hefe is under 21. Maybe we'll go with, isn't he young? He's too young to be a teacher. And we'll put that shit up here in the curly braces. And I'm going to show you something different to go with this. So there's an alternative to me being under 21. I could be equal to 21 or I could be over 21. Right? There's other criteria. There's other situations. So if I wanted to, I could say, get in there. That's exactly what I'm leaning for. But I could say if Hefe's age equals 21, see out. Oh shit, he's exactly 21. Buy us some booze, Hefe. So that would be me checking exactly for my age. And then I could do the, if he's over than that. And I'll do it in curly braces here. You can still buy us booze, so he's cool. Because when I did it down here, it only applied to one line. Remember when I ran this, it said the bottom line, but not the top line. So if I wanted to include everything in a certain area, I have, it's kind of like putting it in its own chapter kind of thing. Yeah, or it's like its own flashcard kind of thing. So like, see how he's old? I know. I wonder how old he is. Just something to have where I have more than one line. So I'll run it. So what it said is he's old, but he can still buy us booze, so he's cool. I wonder how old he is. Isn't he too young to be a teacher? So it went and checked my age. My age is 48. It did a comparison. Is 48 less than 21? No, so it's false. So it doesn't run the rest of in the brackets. It got to the, is he 21? No, it didn't run that. It ran everything in the comparison for is he over 21? And then when we got to the one with no brackets, it's still this, only this first line applied to this if. And this line printed regardless. No, I deliberately left it off because there was only one line, but I could. No. Well, it did. I just ran it. In fact, it's still running. I never closed it. So no braces means it only is going to do the next line.
Zero return, zero at the bottom.
Yeah. I'm gonna make it return 144. Let's change it up.
So essentially, what does that mean now? Like, no, that is at 144.
It means nothing because we talked about functions last week. Main is a function, and what the int says is what the return value of the main function is. But we don't use outside of the main. We don't use the main for anything. Like when the main's done running, the show's over. So it doesn't really matter what it returns.
So without the return, it won't give us anything.
It won't give us anything. I could do void main void and comment out this return because it doesn't need a return now. And it should still run. Now it's saying it doesn't need a return. I don't know. I just learned. I grew up with int main void, and that's what I like doing. Because void main void that sounds funny.
Void mean void? I never even heard that.
Void main void. Void being the output, main being the function name, and void being the input. Having it said twice is a little confusing, especially when you're first learning. So we're not gonna like I'm gonna leave it as int main void. All right. So believe it or not, this doesn't make sense to run them all. What if I was under 21? Should I bother checking the rest because I clearly know it's not true? We can set this up so that it only checks later ones if the first one fails. Because otherwise, every time it has to make a comparison, it takes the computer just a little bit behind, tiny microcosm longer. But if you have enough of them, it can add up. So like it has to check each one of these. So each one of these gets checked the way it is. So we have an option to make that more efficient. Where the hell is Juan? He's supposed to be in here. Let's add in Juan's age. I forget how old he is. I think he's 22. I mean 20 as well. I agree with you. What? What about? Oh, you think that's what's going on? That little bastard? Fuck you doing, Juan? You're on the clock now, buddy.
Wait, does he get paid for this?
He gets paid for sitting in here. It's a pretty good gig, huh?
Yeah. Isn't your first SI for this class?
Is it? He's an SI for this class. I have to make sure he doesn't get signed off. Block me on him.
I mean, we had discussed before you always had that stuff.
I didn't have an SI the first time I taught the class. I have every semester since the first time, though. Just as helpful for students. Not everyone wants to approach the professor, but approaching a peer is easier. So we're gonna do the same test with Juan. If Juan's age is less than 21, Juan is less than 21. Juan is under 21 years old. He can be my SI, but not buy me alcohol. Now I could do the whole equals 21 and greater than 21, but I already know this one's going to trigger. So why waste the computer's time triggering the rest? So instead of doing another if, we can do something called else. And I can say Juan's, see how Juan is is 21 or over. Buy us some Johnny Walker, please, Mr. SI.
See the int for FA's age?
Yeah, I said I was 48. You good?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
So when I run this, it's gonna hit this first one, check Juan's age. Juan is 20, so he is less than 21. It should run this C out right here. And then the else means it's not gonna check this one at all. It won't even fucking bother because it's an else. Which means if the first one's true, do it. Otherwise, do this. So it's like an A or B. One of them has to happen. This one is doing whether Juan's age is greater than or equal to 21, which is the opposite of less than. Most people would say the opposite of less than is greater than, but we're forgetting the equal part. So when I run it, it should only run this top one. Maybe I'll put in a little divider line in here. So it's clear what we're looking at on the screen. Juan is under 21. He can be my SI, but not buy me alcohol. So I didn't run this one at all. What if I wanted to say something rather in specific, rather than greater than or equal? What if I wanted to do an equal portion or a greater portion? So let's take a look at that. Nathan, how old are you?
28.
There we go. That's perfect. So I'll do one for him. Less than 21. We only need one line, so I'll just do a single C out. I don't need brackets for one line. C out. Nathan is under 21. Now I want to do two more, but the if thing makes them both run. So the option we have is else if. Else if combines the else and the if. So else if Nathan's age equals 21. See out Nathan is exactly 21. Else see out Nathan is, oh, I need quotation marks. String literal is over 21. Everyone ready? Getting there, almost ready? It says Nathan is over 21. Now, normally we would do brackets for each of these. That way we could put more in. What if I want to compare two values? If Juan's age is greater than Nathan's age, see out. Juan is Juna. Juan is older than Nathan. Else, see out. Nathan is older than Juan. Whatever the final else is, if you're not doing else ifs, that's the one that I don't have to show the criteria. It means whatever hasn't already been covered. So like up here, we check for Nathan being under 21 and then exactly equal to 21. And after that, the only thing left is to check if Nathan's over 21. So I didn't need to put the criteria in the else thing. That holds true here. So this isn't necessarily correct. Nathan is older than Juan. I should say Nathan is older than or the same age as Juan, because I didn't have the 21 comparison. So I can run this. And it says Nathan is older than or the same age as Juan, which makes sense. We know that Nathan is older. Nathan's 28, Juan is listed as 20. Everybody good with that right there? Because since these are only one line, I technically don't need this else. I don't need this else when they are one line codes, because the if will only go with the first line. No, I do need it, because I don't want it to run this either way. Hey, never mind, ignore that. Okay, so this if else thing, if else is called a logical operator or a control statement. I'm sorry, just control statements. Logical operator comes in a second. You guys need a break? Let's take a 5-minute break real quick. Let's see where we are. Class break thing. I realize if I got to stretch, you guys probably got to stretch too. If you see Juan, tell him he's losing money. Okay. So the if else is called a control statement. It controls what gets printed. Controls what takes effect. Here was what gets printed because I just had C outs. But I could have other actions going on in here. Oh, he responded, didn't he? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. So they're called control statements. Controls. It controls what takes effect. So I could make actions happen here. I could have this say, I can affect Hefe's age in here. I'll say Nathan's age. Here I'll say Hefe's age equals 21. And in here, I'll say Hefe's age equals Juan's age. He was under 21. And now after it, Hefe's age is now Hefe's age. So I'm using these for more than C outs. I'm using them to affect the value of another variable. And we know Nate, the only one that triggered, the only one that the criteria was met was the else, because he wasn't less than 21 or equal to 21. So none of those happened. And so the only one that took effect was this one. And that made me equal to Nathan's age. We don't need to necessarily use them in code. I showed something earlier. I didn't show it well. I tried to say C out 5 less than 6, but that's not going to happen. They didn't like it last time. It's not going to like it this time. But if I put it in parentheses, it accepts it. So without the parentheses, it doesn't run. With the parentheses, it treats it as a operation to do. And a return to 1. So it treated it as a Boolean. False is 0. And if something is true, a Boolean returns 1. But if we assign the value, any non-zero is true. Like if we're using it for a comparison. We haven't even done for loops yet. Oh, yeah. That's chapter 5. Okay. So I'll show you that what I was talking about with Boolean. Just call it a checker. And I'm going to default it equaling a 0. And I'm going to say if checker equals 0, see out false. Else if checker equals 1, see out true. I got my fingers on the wrong. God damn it. There we go. I'm going to say if checker equals 2. I'm going to say see out also true. I'm going to show you how this stuff works by modifying checker. You do a final else. See out checker is greater than 2. You know, for him not being here, he got here really fucking fast, didn't he? He was fucking like sitting right outside this motherfucker door and going,
I gave him heads up.
right?
I gave him heads up. Like, yeah, you.
I was just waiting. I was like, okay, it's not for you. I'm waiting until it's for, because I thought it was the other class for some reason.
He's like instantaneously like walked in,
I ran, I was like,
responded
"Shit,
to
I'm
Discord,
late."
walked in.
Did the class tell you what you want?
What?
Nobody must be here.
He was questioning. He's like, "You're getting paid."
He was getting paid.
Yeah. It was better part.
Now he needs to grovel if he wants to get paid for this last hour. I'll still let him get paid because I've seen him working off the clock in Mesa. So that's just me being a lenient master, a lenient judge. All right.
But they see your couple people like looking for me. They're like, hey, there's these guys looking for you. That's because and then now I have people coming from Java also looking for me. And they're like, hey, have you seen one? And I have no idea who they are. So it's like really.
That's your bad. This is where you say, I don't know Java. Whether you know Java or not, you say, I don't know Java. Oh, the int?
Yeah, right there.
20, right? All right. So let's come down here and run this Boolean checker. Bool is short for Boolean. Okay, so it should just do the false, right? False. What if I change Boolean checker to 1? Now it should say true. Let's change it to 2. It kept it as true. Well, that's rude. And that's interesting. You know, it does this one? Boolean is checker equals 2. So when it got here, it didn't do checker equals 2. Here it said, okay, checker is true, and true equals 1. So it reassigned it the value 1. Because when I run it right now, it does not do also true.
So is anything but 0 also reassigned? So like if you put -1.
Let's check it out. Let's try -1. -1 should fall under the checker is greater than 2. Right? It doesn't meet the checker equals 0, checker equals 1, checker equals 2. Should fall here. Where does it fall? Falls under true.
Yeah.
As long as it's not 0, it says it's true. And then it ignores the value that's there and says the value is 1. So it replaced it with 1. All right, so we got another fun one. The switch command. Int x equals 4. No, we got an x. Int y equals 4. I think we have a x. I did, didn't I? Oh, well, fuck it. We're going to use y, x, y. So we're going to do switch y. And you use curly braces here. And let's say this is going on a scale from 1 to 5. Let's pretend y is a scale from 1 to 5. So there's 5 different scenarios or 5 cases. So if we want to do them, we can just say, list them by the cases they are. Case 1. See out y equals y must equal 1. Then I can do the next case. How about I just do copy paste this? And change this to must equal 2. Case 3. I want colon.
Professor Jones, do all the cases need to be in a bracket?
I'm going to put them in the bracket. It's better.
I added the bracket for switch y.
Should be.
Oh,
That's the problem. I don't have any this in a bracket. There we go. Now I need another bracket down here to go with. Let's try that. I was missing one. And when you have one left, you can just call it default. Default is for the last one. So what switch is doing here, switch acts like a shit ton of if else ifs.
we call it when you.
The what?
The Russian dolls.
The dolls have a name though.
Oh,
Yeah, they are Russian dolls, but I know.
I know what you're talking about too.
Um,
Nesting dolls?
Nesting.
But they have another name.
There you
We'll
go.
do a nesting statement in a second.
Is that what this is though? Is this
Nature,
nesting?
nature yoshka.
Not quite.
Nature yoshka.
A what?
Nature, it's not long, it's a nature yoshka.
Yeah, that's-
That sounds right.
I compared it to nesting, yeah.
So let's see what happens here. That's the good thing, stuff about this. You can experiment and figure shit out. So let's put a bunch of, let me add a C out up here that clears, like puts a clear barrier between what we were doing before. In fact, I'll say switch in here. So we make it clear that we're changing shit up. Easier to find on the screen. Let me give you guys time to finish typing it in.
Is this like a form of nesting now?
No, we'll do nesting in a second.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna hit run. Now look at this. We know y equals 4, but it printed the lines for case 4 and the default. What if I said y equals 2? Let's do this again. Let me rerun this with y equals 2. Because I'm going to illustrate something to you guys. If I run it with y equals 2, now it does y must equal 2, y must equal 3, y must equal 4. So the switch thing does, it goes till it finds the case that y equals. So y, it's comparing y and goes, okay, does y equal this case value? And once it does everything after it. So once it finds its case, it does everything after it. Unless we add the line break. And that's kind of why you want to have parentheses or these brackets, braces for all the switch things. And you don't need it on the default one because it's the last one. That's getting fucking sore really quick. You would think I would, it wouldn't. It's got so much experience being sat on. All right, now when I run it, it just says the y must equal 2. So what break does is it pulls us out of the sequence, the current control sequence.
Break thing again?
What?
Break in purple.
Break pops us out of the switch case. Because when I didn't have break, y equals 2 right now. When I didn't have breaks in there, it showed y equals 2, y equals 3, y equals 4, y equals 5. It showed everything after the case that activated it. What break does is it pops us out of the switch once it hits it in the case that triggered it. If I didn't have it here, it wouldn't trigger until after I got to the 3. So I'll show that real quick. So there it triggered both the 2 and the 3. Then a break showed up. And then it popped us out of the switch. Switch, I think, has very particular uses because you got a lot of you got to write almost as much as an if else sequence. But one of them that was really fucking phenomenal on. Did I give you guys it as this an assignment? Let's go look. Get Juan's lateness here real quick. I don't have it there. Maybe it'll be a test question. I don't know. It's really good for something that you need to, once something starts, you got to say the rest of it. Like the 12 days of Christmas. The 12 days of Christmas is fucking just, the switch is designed for the 12 days of Christmas. Because once you hit the number that it does, you got to recite the rest. You know, on the 5th day of Christmas, you do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. That's our switch. So you asked about the question mark. Let's take a look at the question mark. The question mark is the conditional, it's called the ternary operator. And this is the generic setup for how it works. You do your control condition. Like this is the if thing you're checking. And then you put question mark. And then you put effect if true. And then you put a colon and you put effect if false. So I'm going to make a quick integer for A and B. And we're going to do this with, is 5 greater than 3? Ternary operator. If 5 is greater than 3, we'll say, oh, let's do this. Let's make A equal 5. Now, let's go back to doing it. I'm just going to set them both equal to 0 for now. We'll say A equals 5. And then we'll do a colon for what happens that, so if it's true, A equals 5, else B equals 5. And we'll see out the value of A. And then we'll see how the value of B. So this one is saying, is 5 greater than 3? If so, set A equal to 5. Otherwise, set B equal to 5. So 5 was greater than 3. So it triggered the first one and not the second. A equals 5, B equals 0, B stayed as 0. If I change it to 5 greater than 6, now it should tell me B equals 5 because 5 is not greater than 6. This is show off. This is someone trying to fucking show off. This thing is identical. This whole fucking line here that's really hard to remember the structure of is the same thing as saying if 5 is greater than or greater than 6, A equals 5, else B equals 5. What? It does say extra credit, right? I need to change the name of that. Oh, oh yeah, she was showing off. She's a show off. She's a smart show off. Let's go with a different number here. I'm gonna go 5 greater than 3, and we'll call this 3 here. Because I want to show what this is doing the same thing. So the ternary operator, let me run it, and so we'll see what happens, and I can show you the code as we're going. So if 5 is greater than 3, I'm sorry, if 5 is greater than 6, A equals 5, B equals 5. This triggers B equaling 5. I need a C out in between there. Yeah, let me rerun this. Haven't done that yet. So first run through, it's doing the ternary operator. What's wrong? Do call us us.
I just showed him. I found this test.
You found the what?
I found this test one, which is 8 books. That's it for the one, but this one's not.
For what is it?
This test is 90 books.
Yeah, am I that boring?
Did he say
Damn!
I'm sorry.
High five on that. That's fun. That's some fucking cojones right there. That takes some balls. Respect. You must already know all this shit.
No, I don't. I'm just saying I couldn't launch it. So I gave up.
Oh, it's not that I'm boring, it's that you can't fucking compete at my level.
I couldn't think. I have some issues that I couldn't launch it. And he
There
wasn't
it
here.
is.
He wasn't here.
It's not that I'm boring is that you're bored because you can't do it the same, you can't participate. That's a shame.
I'm sorry.
You know, these have laptops you could, or computers you could hop
Yeah.
on, but that's more work than is
I know.
necessary.
The reason why I couldn't because I had to update because right here couldn't launch. I couldn't basically get to the grid thing, and then I checked. I needed an update, and that would take at least by 30. That would be done on.
That's fine.
So I decided.
So
just to-
instead, you decide I'm gonna look up the fucking price of the desk.
That's more impressive.
What, don't you have better things to fucking, like, other homework to do?
I had 2 glasses.
This is fucking golden shit right here. It's all right. Don't disrupt the students that are actually trying to work, though.
I'm sorry.
See, he's got his computer up. He's trying to work on. Are you working on it?
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
That's hella sus. Now I don't believe you.
It's something to do with numbers.
So your math homework.
Technically, yeah, I'm doing addition.
Yeah, you're not in a class that it's really. Is anyone in here doing C++?
I took the quiz. What does that have to, bro? What?
It's like this shit's easy. You gotta remember, he fucking gave us the history of computer science. I am clearly doing remedial shit for him. Right?
I actually needed like know nothing about the actual coding stuff.
Why are you taking the quiz?
Because I'm tired and I'd rather not have to do homework when I get home.
I'm going too slow. That's it. You can do both.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's get back to this. All right. So that's a conditional ternary operator. We did it up here with this. So it triggered A equals 0, B equals 5. Then I did the same fucking thing with an if statement using different numbers. And 5 is greater than true. So it triggered A equals 3 being true. It changed A equals 0 to A equals 3. B was left as 5 because that's what it was assigned in the previous section. So the conditional stuff, this line right here is the same thing as this if statement here. I don't know that it's easier to fucking remember. Because believe it or not, I can do this all as one line of fucking code too. This is going to run. And I'll show you it's going to run because we'll just say this is, I'll just make this 48 just to show that it's something different. The test is the same. It did the A equals 0, B equals 5. And then it did this if statement and it said A equals 48. So it does one line of code just like this does one line of code. But this is harder to fucking read because no one remembers the question mark. Don't do this. Do it as separate lines, okay? So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to comment that out. And we're going to go back to doing it as separate fucking lines. Because why do you think I want that? Why do you think that's a good idea?
Was A and B supposed to both equal 5 like that? 1, 3, 3.
Yes, because this is it takes this thing and goes, is this true? Question mark, you're like, question mark, is this true? If it's true, do this. If it's false, do this. So where that showed up here was right here. It checked it and it said 5 is not greater than 6. So I'm not going to do A equals 5. I'm going to do B equals 5. And so it did A equals 0, B equals 5 right there. So it's an if else. Only one of them can happen on the ternary operator. Yeah.
You want to say why you want it in that format instead?
Yes.
String statements and we have to like do a bunch of lines and such for the ifs and the else's.
That's a great reason for other lines or other things of code. You got a lot of shit there. You don't want it one big line. But what about this one in particular? What if I wasn't using strings or anything like that? Just this. Why would I possibly want this instead of this? Let me undo this real quick right here. Which one of those is easier to read? The bottom one, right? That's why we do it for readability by other users. The computer doesn't give a shit about the line returns or the spaces. All it's looking for is the fucking semicolon. Semicolon is the fucking, let's go to the next line. So it doesn't care about the fucking spaces. You can do, in fact, a lot of times if you look at code like for a website, it's just fucking unending. There's no fucking spaces anywhere. There's no space in any of this shit. It is just a stream of fucking characters, numbers, and symbols that you could pull apart and make like this to read it, but it's designed to make it fucking really hard to read. Because the computer can do it, but people that are wanting to copy a big ass fucking website aren't gonna want to do it.
So is it just more, it's more work to put spaces?
It's
Or
what?
Is it more work to put spaces? That's why the computer websites don't do it, or
Computer websites, people don't, well, they
are they?
they do it sometimes to make it harder to read by people because they don't want them copying their shit. Other than that, it's not harder to do. They could fucking have spaces in it. They choose not to.
It's like to protect their own intellectual property, right?
Yeah, it makes it really hard to fucking read. If I had all of this with no fucking spaces in there, it becomes really hard to read.
Can you like copy and paste ChatGPT to like make it readable or like the spacing?
I don't know. I don't use ChatGPT. I'm not a fucking loser.
I know, just saying. Can you do it on that?
He's right there.
I have no idea.
His picture's
Can
right
you
there.
write a program that you paste a bunch of code in and it finds all the semicolons and adds enters?
That sounds like a great fucking project.
One.
We will do that when we on our upcoming project. In fact, what we've done this with I've done this with the find the periods and count how many sentences, but we could very much do this where it inserts a new line after each fucking semicolon. We could do that. That is definitely a doable thing. All right, so other stuff in this shit.
His picture's right there. His picture's in the corner.
Is it?
It says AI too.
He's so excited about AI. And it's neat. Yeah, I agree. It's fucking neat. It's gonna be the death of fucking civilization. Because people, someone that's born into it never needs to fucking think at all. You don't have to have fucking any fucking ability to think or reason if you can just ask the fucking computer verbally and it will do everything for you. You lose the ability to have any fucking mental ability on your own.
Have you seen the rabbit? It's like an iPhone. You only have to speak to it. Like there's no apps or anything. You just go onto it, speak to it, and it does everything.
No.
Sounds horrible. Like, how would he use it? No, so like the concept of apps isn't on it. So like it does everything a phone does. Like Siri. Yeah, it's kind of like Siri, but the concept of apps is like removed from it. So anything you want it to do, you just talk to it and it does it for you. This camera, it's like a phone just without the apps. So instead of
I'm
going
like,
to
how does it
like,
run
take
shit that
a
doesn't?
picture, you have to say take a picture.
But if
You
I,
like, yeah,
but if I say
it's
something
so
wrong,
much
because
smaller.
like on my phone, if I say something wrong, it sounds too similar to another word, so it keeps saying the default is the other word, but I want this word.
Oh, that fucking voice to text. I have a friend whose name is, I'll type it here, Shaven. Voice to text hates fucking Javen. It comes out as all four fucking sorts of things. I stopped calling him Javen on voice to text. I told him from now on, if I say Voldemort, this is you. Because I found by accident, it fucking clearly recognized Voldemort. I want to do something with characters real quick. So char, my char equals, let's say X. No, I'll get to that in a second. We'll do that in a second. I'm going to start with something else. I have installed, and we showed it up above, we have include CTime and include C standard library. So I want to show you what CTime is good for. What if I want, actually, I'm going to turn it off. I want to show you what happens if we don't have CTime. So there's a function in C standard library called rand. It stands for a random number generator. It does a whole bunch of numbers. I forget the string of numbers. It does a wide range of numbers though. Just by running it by on its own, it will do a specific thing. I can tell it int have equals rand. What should I choose here? So we're gonna do 1 to 20. I can say mod $19. Nope, it's 20. Rand mod 20. The percentage sign means mod, like the way we look at the clock, it goes every 12 hours. That's called mod 12. So every time it gets to the final number, it resets to 1. So here, rand mod 20, it does 0 to 19. And when it gets to 20, it resets to 0. So if I want to include go 1 to 20, I need to actually add to 1 to it. Let's just see out what Hefe is. Hefe's random number is Hefe. All right. What's going on over here? Let's try that again. Hefe's random number is 2. So I got the random number 2. Let me run it again. I closed it. I'm going to run it again. It says Hefe's random number is 2, which is pretty suspect because we did 1 to 20 and I got 2 twice in a row. If I close it and I run it again, Hefe's random number is 2. It's not really random. It's based on a random sequence, but it uses a fixed library to start, fixed set of numbers to start with. So if we want it to actually be random, a great way to do it is seed it with something that's random. So I'm going to come up here and turn this back on. So I turned CTime back on. And now I'm going to do srand parentheses time parentheses 0. What this does is it seeds the random number generator with the current time as a number. So every time I run it, a new integer is put in and a new set of random numbers is generated. Current time being time equals 0. So now it says random number is 14. And if I run it again, I get 20. And let's make it 1 to 26. No, well, let's go back to 20. I have char, my char equals X, but I can change that and have it generate random letters. One way is to say it equals A plus rand mod 26. Throwing another end line up here so it's separate lines. My character is K. My char is equal to R. So A must be based on a number. What is that number based on? It's called the ASCII key. ASCII is ASCII, ASCII table. If you look up the ASCII table, back. And you scroll right because the zoom bar is in the way. So lowercase a starts at 97. Let me go back to the code and show that instead of putting A, I want to leave it there because this is stuff you'll see later. No. So I'm going to turn off this one and show that the same thing happens. It's pulling a random number. It's starting with 97, which is A. If I want capital letters, the capital letters start at 65. So I can come in and say 65. And we actually got 65. That's interesting. So lowercase a corresponds with 97. Uppercase A corresponds with 65. What if we want to compare something that's a string? We've been doing these comparisons. Let me go up and include string real quick. And we're going to make a string. String me equals David. Oh, let's go Hefe. String SI equals 1. Tell you about it after lecture. So we can do if me is greater than SI. But what's going to happen, Juan? So what do you say is going to happen? It says that it goes by the J's and the J's match, so it checks E and U.
Yeah. And it's because I think I.
So E would have so by his logic, let's come look. If it's checking E, Hefe has a 101 and U has a 117. So it should say Juan is greater if his logic's correct. Decimal number.
Oh, this one.
So this is like a regular 10-digit number sequence. Notice it only has numbers 0 through 1.
Was the HX and both?
HX is hexadecimal. OCT is probably octadecimal, or
What are those three other columns do?
they're different binary or different numbering systems. And different commands, what you would use in HTML. I don't know what CH or R is.
Char?
Oh, this is the char, what character is returned.
Do they keep updating this, or is it just been the same for?
ASCII it should be consistent for a long time.
Otherwise, everything is asking if there's anything.
Yeah, all old code would break as soon as it changed.
Do they keep adding on to it? Is it called programming language? Or
There's nothing to keep, they have enough here that they don't need to keep adding on,
It's like foundational, right? Like,
right? There's 128 things. There's the letters, there's the numbers, there's all the C bit symbols from the keyboard. They even have shit like carriage return, shift in, shift out, device control. Oh, maybe that's your fucking thumb triggers on your fucking controller. You know, whatever you want to use, there's something here that can be used for it.
how old is this from first day?
I don't know how old the ASCII table is. Stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It's pretty old. They use it for what?
No.
That's for the phone.
Let him look at that while he's doing nothing else.
Yeah, that is
Make
more
up for
scope.
being late.
I think that is more scope. Yeah, you're right.
All right, so we didn't actually run it. He thinks it's gonna be him. Some bitch says Juan is greater than Hefe. Is he right?
No.
Let's say it's Jane. That was a good answer. That's how you kiss up. You don't tell him he's boring.
You were
Hefe is greater than 1.
You're both happy and then sad.
Which is interesting because we said the capital numbers are a lower number. So I could say Zach and Anne. Do I want to go? Which one do I want to capitalize here? I want to capitalize Z. Here I'll put Zach. And here I'll put Anne. Now alphabetically, Z is after A. So Z should have a higher number than A. And you would think it would say Zach is the winner. Well, they both say Zach is greater than Ann. That's a fucking fail. Like, that's not gonna show shit. So it should say Zach is greater than Ann, because Z is a larger number than A, but Z was a capital, and capital Z corresponded to 90, and lowercase a corresponded to 97. So lowercase z or uppercase Z is less than lowercase a. So it's going off the ASCII table. It's complicated. Going off the ASCII table. So I told you about it's doing the seed number up here. What it's returning is time in seconds since January 1st, 1970, I believe. Probably New Year's.
When you say it's with the S friend and the time like zero.
Yeah. Time in zero is returning time from, time zero is returning time from January 1st, 1970. We don't have to put time zero in here. SRAND is a seeding thing. I could say 27 and it's going to give it a random number list, but then it's no longer random anymore. It's going to keep doing the same fixed returns.
And SRAM, what library is that? correspond to?
SRAND is in, it should be the C standard library. So doing it off time zero is a great way. Some people do time null. I like time zero, it's shorter to write. It is in the C standard library included up here. The time zero thing is in the C time library.
Yeah, so that's why you included string this time.
I included string to do the names. Me equals Zach, SI equals Ann.
You would put a name for that.
My IDE will fill in that there's a string library if I don't have include string. But if I copy the code and put it somewhere else, it doesn't necessarily do it. If you're going to use strings, you want to include the string library.
And that's for full sentences, not single words. Or
Even single words, anything more than a single character.
thank you.
Logical operators. F equal, oh wait. 7. And G equals 8. So now we're going to do the logical operators. And or. And not actually pops up in there. We didn't use not yet. So I could say C out if F is greater than G. Just showing what happens real quick. So maybe I'll make a little. Oh. And F is not greater than G, so it should return a 0. This should return 0. And I could actually make it say it on screen, is F greater than G. That's not doing a logical operator. I'm just checking it right now. 0 is false. So no. A logical operator includes and or. So I could do C out is F greater than 5 and is G greater than 6. And the way this goes in here is we do, I guess I should show them up here separately. The and thing uses the ampersand, double ampersand, or uses the double pipe, which is above the backslash on my keyboard. And not, we already talked about not equals the question mark or exclamation point. So I'm going to come up here and do that. I can say, is F greater than 5? That's what I wanted to check. And is G greater than 6? So what I put in the brackets is what is happening here. F is not greater than 5. G is not greater than 6. Or yeah, they both are. So both are true. Returns should return a 1, right? Because they're both true. I'm going to show what I'm going to copy this and show what happens if one of the lines is not true. Is F greater than 5 and is G less than 6? Change that less than there. So let's see what happens. Let me pause and let you get it typed in. Look at that, Juan's already gone again. Not even an hour. Go pee in his bag or something. It's disgusting. Be funny though.
It is almost done, actually.
So I'm gonna run it. And says is F greater than G? False. Is F greater than 5 and is G greater than 6? True. They're both criteria are met. Is F greater than 5? Yes. Is G less than 6? No. It returns a 0. So both criteria have to be met with the AND operator. The OR operator, only one of them has to be met. If both are met, that's fine also. So I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to change this to say OR. And here, the logical code for that is the double pipe. So this one is false, so returns false. And on this one of them is true, so it returns true.
Little bar on 171 with the or
It's really it's like a vertical line. I call it the pipe. On my keyboard, it's right above the enter key, and I have to use the shift key to do it.
I just want to know the professional name for
I don't know if I know what it's called.
it.
Absolute value bar. I don't know.
Like something calculated here.
Or Frank, no, it's the,
They're called groups.
Oops. Thank you.
All right, let's run it. And it said it was true. Because as long as one of them is true, it works. It doesn't matter which one is true. Let's change this around. And let's say, is F greater than 8 or is G less than 10? And now they switch which case was true. F is not greater than 8, but G is less than 10. So it's going to return true here also. I kind of wonder, is one fucking with us? What is
People call it type, vertical bar, vertical line, it just depends on the context. But in programming, they call it the type, or the vertical bar.
where is it here?
So that in computer science, they refer to it as
Pipe.
word operator.
It's a fucking vertical bar. I mean, pipe is just probably chosen because it's shorter. Quick spots where you would use this, because we're out of time. So like when we have in mathematics the compound inequalities, 2 is less than x, which is less than 5 kind of thing. This is kind of got to be the equivalent of that line right here is if 2 is less than x, or x is greater than 2, and x less than 5. So that's how we can deal with compound inequalities. It also works great for square roots. Square root of, like, if we do x squared equals 4, then x equals plus or minus 2. Plus 2 or minus 2. And so we would say x equals 2 or x equals -2.
so it's for +2 and -2, so it doesn't do like an error with a calculator error.
If I do this, whatever one I do last is going to be the one it assigns. So this, I'm just talking English speak. This would be the computer code of the equivalent if you're doing it for a checker. If you wanted it to see out something where it showed 2 answers, you'd have to manually put that in. This is just for comparison operator purposes. And so this gives us the option to do an and thing. And well, in this case, an or. So if we had 2 or -2, both of them would meet the criteria for x squared equals 4. All right, as a reminder, next Friday is off. I did have some more stuff I wanted to do in this section, which we will do on Tuesday night. I will at 7:15. I will record it if you can't make it. It is on recursion. And you can read about it if you would like to. Here, well, little quick examples of what they are. I'll go over these on Tuesday night. They're real quick. In CSCI 2, you're going to have to do a shitload more with recursion and actually use it, but you're being introduced to it here. And I'll do that on Tuesday night at 7:15. I'll record it, so if you don't come, you don't have to come. No one has to come. I'll post it after that. If you're not all aware, because you show up to class like good little students. Where is that? I think I put it at the end. Where's my fucking lecture notes? Let's shrink these down. Easier to fucking find. Why are these all open? Let's just scroll down. Where's my fucking library?
It should put like a
Where is my lecture videos? They're fucking gone. That's a link to, yeah.
I just go to that one. I just go. It just tracks me to kind of when I just go with whatever. What was the date that class was?
If worst comes to worst, doesn't it say on your?
It's on my Zoom. I thought I'd been uploading them here. Where the fuck am I uploading them? Have I been uploading them to CSCI 2? I don't know. Either way, I'll mention it again later. That's it for class today. I'm going to stop recording.